Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Void of Context. Take a slow breath. Let your shoulders fall. You are here now. Before we begin, a question. What if the person who changed how we think about reality, love, justice, and the soul started life as an athlete? What if the man who gave us the world of ideas, the one behind the shadows on the cave wall, had hands strong enough to wrestle? What if wisdom and strength were never opposites? Today, we go back to ancient Athens, back to a young man with a powerful body and a restless mind, a man whose teacher was killed by his own city, a man who refused to stop asking why. His name was Plato, and this is his story. If this kind of thinking feels good to you, please subscribe. A new idea waits for you every week, here on Void of Context. Plato was not born with that name. His real name was Aristocles. He was born around 428 BC in Athens, Greece. His family was rich and powerful. His future looked safe, comfortable, and ordinary. But something in him was never ordinary. As a young man, Plato was strong. He trained hard. He competed in the Isthmian Games, one of the great athletic contests of ancient Greece. He wrestled. He won. His wrestling coach, some say, gave him the name Plato. In Greek, Platos means broad shoulders, broad chest, broad strength. Think about that. The man who would later describe the broadest ideas in human history, the forms, the good, the soul, was first known for his broad, powerful body. He was also a poet. He wrote plays and verses. He loved beauty and language. He was the kind of young man who could have gone many ways. And then he met Socrates. Socrates was already old when Plato found him. He was not beautiful. He was not rich. He walked barefoot through the streets of Athens and asked strangers uncomfortable questions. He made powerful people look foolish. He had no school, no building, no official position. But Socrates had something rare. He had the ability to show you that you did not know what you thought you knew. Plato was perhaps 18 or 19 years old. Socrates was already 60 or more. And yet, something happened between them. Plato burned his poems. He gave up the idea of becoming a politician, which his family had always expected. He followed Socrates into the Agora, the open marketplace of ideas, and began to listen. For nearly 10 years, he listened, he watched, he thought. Socrates did not write anything down. Everything we know of Socrates, we know through Plato. Plato became the keeper of his teacher's voice. And then the city took that voice away. In 399 BC, Socrates was put on trial. The charges were impiety and corrupting the youth of Athens. He was found guilty. He was given the choice to escape. He refused. Socrates drank the hemlock. He died. Plato was there. He watched his teacher die for asking questions. Can you imagine what that does to a person? Can you imagine what it burns into the mind of a young man who loved truth? After the death of Socrates, Plato left Athens. He traveled. He went to Egypt. He went to southern Italy. He studied mathematics. He studied the Pythagoreans. He suffered. He grew. He and slowly he began to build. When Plato returned to Athens, he founded a school. He called it the Academy. It was one of the first places in history where people came simply to think together. And from this place came his greatest idea. Plato looked around at the world and asked a question that seems simple at first. What is real? We see a beautiful flower. We see another beautiful flower. They are different flowers. One is bigger. One is a different color. One will die tomorrow. But we know both are beautiful. How do we know that? Plato said, because we already know what beauty is. Not this flower or that flower, but beauty itself, the perfect, unchanging form of beauty. He called these the forms, or the ideas. The physical world, he said, is like a shadow. The real world, the world of forms, is behind it, more real, more true, more permanent. The most famous image he ever created is called the Allegory of the Cave. Imagine prisoners in a dark cave. They are chained. They face a wall. Behind them, a fire. Between the fire and the prisoners, people carrying objects. The prisoners see only shadows on the wall. They think the shadows are real. They give the shadows names. They believe the shadows are the world. But one prisoner breaks free. He turns around. He sees the fire. He walks out of the cave. He sees the sun. He sees the world as it truly is. At first, it hurts. The light is too bright. It is painful to see the truth. But then he understands. This, Plato said, is philosophy. The painful, necessary walk out of the shadows and into the light of real knowledge. Are you still inside the cave? Are you watching the shadows and calling them real? Plato did not only think about abstract ideas. He thought about love. He thought about the soul. He thought about what makes a good life and a good society. In a dialogue called the Symposium, Plato writes about a dinner party where people take turns talking about love. One of the speeches in that dialogue describes something we now call Platonic love. The idea is this: when you love someone deeply, you are not just attracted to their body. You are catching a glimpse of something beyond them, a beauty that is not theirs alone, a beauty that belongs to the form of beauty itself. True love, Plato said, is the beginning of a journey from one beautiful person to all beautiful things, to beauty in ideas, to the highest beauty of all, the form of the good. Unquote. The good. This was the highest form of all, the source of all truth, all knowledge, all being. Plato compared it to the sun. Just as the sun gives light to everything we see, the good gives truth to everything we know. He also believed deeply in the soul. The soul, he said, is not the body. The soul existed before this life. The soul will continue after this life. The body is temporary. The soul is real. Death, he said, is not to be feared. It is simply the return of the soul to where it truly belongs. You are doing something important right now. You are not just practicing English. You are thinking. You are following ideas that have taken humanity thousands of years to develop. And you are doing it in a language that is not your first. That takes courage. That takes patience. That takes the kind of broad strength that Plato would have respected. New words from today: impiety, not showing respect for sacred things; allegory, a story that has a deeper, symbolic meaning; form, Plato's word for the perfect, unchanging idea behind physical things. You are not just learning English, you are learning how to think. Plato died around 348 BC. He was almost 80 years old. Some say he died peacefully, at a wedding, listening to music. The wrestler, the poet, the student who watched his teacher die, the thinker who asked, "What is real?" and never stopped asking. He left behind dialogues, conversations, 36 of them. Every major philosopher since has either built on Plato or argued with him. Alfred North Whitehead once said that all of Western philosophy is a series of footnotes to Plato. A footnote to one man who started as a wrestler. And now, the question I leave with you: are you living in the cave? Are you looking at shadows and calling them real? And if you stepped out into the painful, beautiful light, what would you see? Tell me in the comments. I want to hear your cave. I want to hear your light. And if you want part 2, if you want to go deeper into Plato's world, let me know below. The Academy is still open. Until next time, my friends, think slowly, understand deeply. This is Void of Context.